Well, a good one today. A championship fight and contender today. Belal, remember the name Muhammad. Belal, 3 weeks out, man. How we feeling?
Feeling good, bro. Excited to finally get the spot and just can't wait to fight tonight.
And before we get to the interview for 304, happy belated birthday. I understand that was yesterday. So how was that?
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Yeah,
You're not.
every birthday's the same. We'll get our gift on July 27th.
And I mean, UK, Manchester, I imagine enemy waters, so to speak, being from Leon's from the UK. So how do you feel about fighting there? The start time, a lot of talk between the two topics.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about the start time, whether it's day or night. I'm gonna freaking punch him in the face. I'm excited to go to enemy territory. I'm ready to go to enemy territory. It wouldn't be, the a perfect part of my journey unless it was a title fight in a spot like this. So for me to go out there and dominate him and win the belt, it's going to be a great chapter in my story.
And when you say that, the circumstances, I actually asked you about this, I guess, over a year ago now at 288 Media Day. I said, like people giving you online hate, you being an underdog like 5 or 6 fights in a row for whatever reason. Like, do you like actually going in here again in England, being the underdog? Like, is that what you mean by that? Just adding to that story even more?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about the haters or the doubters. I've been doubted my whole life, so I just want to keep getting doubted. The people that are with me are the people that are with me, my family, my friends, the fans, the real fans that actually meet me. Those are the real ones that I fight for. So all these other people are just blowing hot smoke, so it don't really matter to me.
And I'm in Philly. I saw you were at Nick Catone in New Jersey, my neck of the woods, training with Khabib and Islam and company. So, how was that being a part of your camp? Like, what is it like training with those animals? And I've been in Catone's before. It's a great gym.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Catone's the man, man. That gym is really nice. The atmosphere, the people there were really cool. Obviously, training with Habib and Islam is a different level. To be in the end of Islam's camp, to feel his energy and just to get like their mindsets, because I got the fight announced while I was there, so it was cool to get their advice and see what they thought about it. And yeah, anytime you get to train with them guys, there's nothing that beats it.
And I mean, this is on paper, people are saying the classic, kickboxer versus wrestler, but you said you think you're going to knock him out. He said he thinks he's going to find a third round finish here. So, you're training with all these Dagestani guys, right? Don't give me the game plan, obviously, but do you see this fight being that wrestler versus kickboxer, or do you actually want to stand and bang?
I mean, I haven't take one shot, one takedown in my last two fights. And the first fight when me and him fought, he shot at me. So like I didn't shoot one takedown at him. I could take this fight wherever I wanted to go. I'm a true martial artist. And when I look at everybody in the division, there's nobody like me. And he hasn't fought anybody like me. And yeah, on July 27th, you'll find out what I'm gonna do.
Excited for it, man. Really excited for it. And I mean, since you guys last met, obviously it didn't end the way anyone wanted it to. You guys have both not slowed down at all. The momentum is still going. So I don't know if impressed is the right word, but how do you feel about Leon's success since you guys last met?
I'm happy that he's successful because now it's gonna make it that much sweeter when I go out there and dominate him. Uh, it was meant to happen this way. The first fight ended with no contest, so we both kept winning, and now we're fighting again on the biggest stage. So this is what matters most, right? That last fight 3 years ago don't mean nothing to me. This is what where I take everything that he got and everything that he worked for. So on July 27th, in front of his people, in front of his hometown, in front of his crowd, I'm going to show you guys what would have happened 3 years ago if we kept fighting.
And then, like, in terms of like the build up here, maybe even during fight week, like, is there, I know you're not there yet, but is there like potential animosity? I know like his coach has been saying things like you're not necessarily who they want next, and then just normal fight stuff. You guys both giving your predictions. So is there any more animosity than usual? Like, what's the build up going to be like, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a good time when you hate a guy that you're fighting. So, and I dislike him. I dislike his whole team and his coaches and all the stuff that they said before the fight. Now it doesn't really matter, right? Because now you have to get in the cage with me. So now the cage door closes and all the words that don't really mean nothing. And Leon's not a guy to really talk. So uh there isn't no point of just speaking into you talking to yourself when you're talking to a mute.
And then like this is kind of a cliche question, but in all honesty and fairness, you're the first ever title contender or champion I've interviewed. So again, thank you for your time. But what would it mean? Like, just really break it down for me. Like, you've been chasing this belt for so long. You've been, seemingly the underdog that we're kind of talking about for so long. Like, to finally get that belt wrapped around you in Manchester, like, what is that going to feel like? How special is that going to be?
I mean, definitely going to be special with everything you worked for, everything that you started your whole career for. That's all you want to do is be the champion, but you really can't get that feeling until you get your hand raised and know exactly how you're going to react, how you're going to feel. But the biggest thing for me is just proving my fans, my family, my team right, and going out there and doing what we do.
And then what kind of champion do you envision yourself being? Some of them fight once a year and people get mad. Some of them, Pereira's fighting all the time. Like, how do you envision your reign going?
Oh man, I love to fight. I love to be active. I've had multiple years where I had 3 or 4 fights. So for myself, I want to stay active. The only reason I haven't been active is because I'm waiting for this title fight, and Leon fights every 8 months. So myself, I want to bring the division back to the limelight to show the world that our division is one of the most exciting divisions, and you need to act a champion for that.
And I mean, without looking past Leon here, and I'm not suggesting you are or anything. I'm curious. Do you have any thoughts potentially on like when, who, any sort of timeline when you'd like to defend the belt your first time?
I mean, you obviously got, I don't know if they made any fights, but they were talking about JDM and Shavkat. That seemed like a clear #1 contender fight if they were going to fight. Uh, if they end up not fighting, I feel like Shavkat would be next in line or Kamaru. Uh, so I haven't fought either one of those guys. Both of them are big names for me to continue on with my legacy. But like you said, we got to get past this guy first.
And then another guy you've been training with, Islam, like we've been saying. Him and Leon kind of chirp. Islam mentions moving up to 170. So, like, how do you think that potential fight would go? Leon versus Makachev.
I mean, he won't go up after I beat Leon, so there's really no point even bringing that one up. But if he were to fight Duplessis, I think he would beat Duplessis. I think he's a better all-around fighter, and I think he's strong enough to compete with Duplessis.
You're talking Islam going up potentially to middleweight, you're saying?
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be. I mean, that's a fight I wouldn't even have expected to be made. But you really think that's a potential someday? Because, like you said, you and Islam aren't fighting.
Yeah, I mean, Islam is so big and so strong. He could definitely do it. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to do it since he wants to get a double champ status.
Awesome, man. And then I know you're got to get out of here, so I want to do like one more thing for like 60 seconds if you have that much time. Is that all right?
You're good, brother.
So you're obviously a great wrestler. No secret. You've won a lot of fights with your strength of wrestling. Obviously, you're well-rounded all around. You're wanting to show at this fight, but the wrestling, I think, is one of your strong suits. That being said, I would love to get your opinion here on a little bit of like which UFC fighter is the better wrestler between the two. No weight class involved, just, pound for pound wrestling skill. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then your winner, we'll just go down the line. We'll compare them. So your first one, someone you may have heard of before, Colby Covington or Merab Dvalishvili.
Merab.
So Merab takes that one. What about him and Aljamain Sterling?
I would say Merab.
Merab still winning it, moving down the line. What about Merab or Arman Tazoukian?
I would go Arman.
And then this is interesting too, because the talk is Arman and Islam's the next name I have written down. So what about that? Arman and Islam.
Islam.
And then Islam takes that one. Someone else you are familiar with, maybe even want to fight with someday, or at least used to, Hamzat Chimaev.
Islam.
Islam keeping it going. Another big wrestler, newer to the UFC, hype boy, Bo Nickel.
Islam.
Islam still going. What about against Triple C?
That's Islam all day.
Islam still. What about Marty Kamara Usman?
Islam.
All right. Well, here's a fun one. Islam or Daniel Cormier?
I know Cormier posted a picture the other day of him getting his hand raised at the gym against Islam, but I don't believe Cormier. I've gone with Islam, and I think Islam beats him.
All right. What about Islam and John Jones, the potential GOAT?
That would be a tough one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Islam.
All right. Here's maybe your hardest. Islam or Khabib Nurmagomedov?
That one's interesting.
You know it. You rolled with them both.
Yeah, but that one's they both had just different styles. That one's really good. Mm, mm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say even on that one. I don't know who would win that one. That'd be a crazy one.
All right. Well, just because we've been doing Islam so much, we'll pretend we'll go with Khabib here. Khabib and GSP, and then only one left.
Oh, Khabib.
All right. What about Khabib and I forget his name. I remembered it. Belal Muhammad. Pun intended.
Khabib.
So Khabib's the bell. Khabib and Islam. We'll call it a tie there for the UFC GOAT wrestlers, and I don't necessarily disagree with you at all. But Belal, again, thank you for your time, man. Before I get you out of here, before the big fight, anything you'd like to say to all the fans?
No, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for having me on. Shout out to everybody who believes in me. Appreciate you guys.
Hey, appreciate you. Best of luck, best of skill, ladies and gentlemen. July 27th, Belal Muhammad, UFC 304.